Stop working hard. Seriously, your hustle isn't making you rich, it's actually keeping you broke. I'm revealing the 3 brutal Machiavelli principles that prove why your effort is being stolen and the one leverage secret the 1% use to make money while they sleep. I'm Ryan. I've been studying the psychology of money for 2.5 years now. I'm not here to give you some quick get-rich scheme, but I promise you, if you don't get massive value from this video, feel free to call me out and roast me in the comments. Point 1. You confuse hard work with wealth creation. You wake up early. You stay busy. You grind through the day believing effort automatically moves you closer to wealth. And on the surface, that belief feels logical. Work more arrow, earn more arrow, succeed. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Hard work and wealth are not the same game. Most people were taught that income is created by effort, but in the modern economy, income is created by value and leverage. And those two things don't always reward the hardest worker. Think about this carefully. A nurse can work exhausting 12-hour shifts. A construction worker can destroy their body for decades. A restaurant server can run non-stop all day. Yet none of these roles guarantee wealth. Why? Because wealth isn't measured by how hard you work. It's measured by how scalable your effort is. Psychologically, this is one of the biggest traps people fall into. They equate exhaustion with progress. They feel productive because they feel tired. But busyness is not always movement. You can work incredibly hard inside a system that has a built-in ceiling. And many jobs, even good, respectable jobs, have ceilings. There are only so many hours you can sell. There are only so many raises you can get. There are only so many promotions available. This isn't cruelty. It's structure. Wealthy individuals understand something most people never fully internalize. Effort that cannot scale will always struggle to create large wealth. This is why leverage changes everything. Leverage means your effort produces results beyond your personal hours. Examples: a business system earns while you sleep. An investment grows without extra labor. A digital product sells repeatedly. A skill commands higher value per hour. A team multiplies output. Same human energy, different economic impact. Most people stay stuck because they focus only on working harder, not working more strategically. They upgrade effort instead of upgrading structure. They chase raises instead of assets. They chase hours instead of ownership. And ownership is where wealth behaves differently. Because when you own something, your income is no longer perfectly tied to time. Your upside is no longer fixed. Your growth compounds. This is why 2 people can work equally hard, yet experience completely different financial outcomes. One is paid once for effort, the other is paid repeatedly for value. There's also a deep psychological comfort in hard work. It feels honorable, it feels controllable, it feels safe. Strategy feels uncertain, building leverage feels risky. Ownership feels slow at first, but financially, the math behaves differently. Hard work builds income, leverage builds wealth. Both matter, but confusing them keeps people trapped. And here's the silent danger. If your entire financial life depends only on your ability to keep working, then time, energy, health, and circumstances always remain threats. Wealth reduces that fragility, not instantly, not magically, but through systems that detach income from constant effort. The wealthy don't avoid hard work. They just make sure their work compounds, that it scales, that it builds something beyond the next paycheck. And that's the shift most people never make. They stay loyal to effort instead of becoming loyal to leverage. Point 2. You fear risk, but wealth requires exposure. Most people don't stay broke because they're lazy. They stay broke because they're trying to feel safe. Safe job, safe decisions, safe financial choices. And psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Your brain is wired for survival, not wealth. It wants certainty, predictability, stability. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealth almost always requires some level of discomfort, uncertainty, and exposure. Not reckless gambling, but calculated risk. Think about how most people approach money. They ask, what if I lose? What if this doesn't work? What if it's not the right time? These questions feel responsible, but over time, they quietly build paralysis. Because avoiding risk also means avoiding opportunity. Psychologists call this loss aversion, the tendency to fear losses more than we value gains. In simple terms, losing $1,000 hurts more than gaining $1,000 feels good. So the brain chooses safety, even when safety slows growth. This is why many people stay stuck in financial plateaus. They don't invest because markets feel scary. They don't start because failure feels embarrassing. They don't move because uncertainty feels dangerous. Meanwhile, wealth builders think differently. They don't ignore risk. They price it. They understand that risk is not the enemy. Unmanaged risk is. There's a massive difference. Poor risk thinking. How do I avoid losing? Wealth-oriented risk thinking. Is this risk worth the potential upside? Because every meaningful financial move carries uncertainty. Starting something, investing, switching careers, building skills, buying assets. There are no guarantees, only probabilities. Here's where psychology becomes destiny. If your primary goal is emotional comfort, your decisions naturally become conservative. If your primary goal is long-term growth, your decisions naturally tolerate discomfort. Neither is morally wrong, but financially, they produce very different lives. Another hidden trap. People confuse risk with danger, but many modern risks are asymmetric, limited downside, potential upside. Examples: learning a new skill, starting something small, investing gradually, testing ideas, building side income. Worst case, you lose time, effort, maybe some money. Best case, trajectory changes. Wealth builders don't wait for certainty. They operate under incomplete information because the perfect moment almost never arrives. There will always be fear, always doubt, always reasons to delay. And delay has a cost few people calculate. Opportunity cost. Years pass anyway. Markets move anyway. Other people move anyway. The risk of staying still often becomes larger than the risk of moving. But psychologically, stillness feels safer. Even when it's financially expensive, wealthy individuals develop a different relationship with uncertainty. They stop asking, "Can this fail?" and start asking, "Can I survive if it fails?" Because survival reduces fear. And reduced fear unlocks action. This doesn't mean blind optimism. It means intelligent exposure, small bets, controlled downside, long-term thinking. The goal isn't to eliminate risk. That's impossible. The goal is to avoid stagnation disguised as safety. Because over decades, the cost of excessive caution compounds brutally. Inflation rises, opportunities pass, energy declines, and the person who avoided every risk slowly realizes they also avoided growth.